Salutations, my name is Summer, and this is Sterling Reads, and my mom made some noise downstairs, so the cats are scattering. I have my fan on still because another hot day. Anyway, I have to work tonight, but I thought I have time. Here comes Sylvie, and she's... What are you doing? I need you to move along. Thank you. Anyway, so she may be trying to knock this down. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you're doing well and staying cool or staying warm wherever you are in the world. But I hope you're all doing well. What, baby girl? You can come down here if you want. Okay, so I forgot to talk about a book that I listened to a couple months ago. I want to say it was June, that I really loved and I forgot to talk about. And that was Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. Okay, no, listen, we need you to scoochie booch. Anyway, it's about these two guys who are friends, and they decide to make a bet to pick someone who they think is lower class and bring her up, right, in society. And they pick this flower girl. And I love the audio because it's like it's BBC full broadcast type of audiobook. So it was a lot of fun listening to it. And of course the men are kind of dumb, where it's like, they're like, oh, well, now that we've brought her up, what are we going to do with her? Everybody's like, what are you going to do with her? And they're like, she'll be fine. She'll be fine. I was like, you guys are dumb. But it was so good, so entertaining, enjoyable. So I wanted to mention it. What else? So, I have a couple of projects. Oh, there is some things that I finished, and now I can't even think about what they are because Sylvie has distracted me. Okay, on my Kindle, I read A Prayer for Owen, Meany by John Irving. Absolutely loved it. I feel like Sylvie's really gonna knock this over. Anyway, I loved it. It's about these two boys, John and Owen, who are best friends. I mean, they're even like stronger than best friends. It's not anything in a sexual way, but just more like soulmates, you would say, with how in tune they are with each other. Anyway, it's about them growing up together and everything they have to go through, you know, like family struggles, school struggles, what are you going to do when you get older, wars coming, the draft, oh my gosh, the finger. That scene where it's like, you don't know, is it going to happen, is it not going to happen, is he going to allow this to happen? And then also about Owen's dream of his future. Absolutely fantastic. There were so many scenes in that book that just, I loved it. So I'm looking forward more to John Irving. The Cider House Rules, I have that in my queue of audiobooks, so whenever it comes up I will be listening to that. And then I'm hoping to, I don't know, there's a John Irving group, which I'm not for sure who's running it. A couple people have mentioned it. So Alan, he mentioned it in his video. I'm just going to link Alan down below. I can't think of what his channel name is. I swear I watch all his videos and I can't remember his channel name. But I'll link him down below because he talks more about it, I believe. And actually in his video that I watched today, I think he linked people about it. It might have been Greg at Another Bibliophile Reads who is one of the ones running it. I'll link those guys. I'm sorry, I'm horrible about, I just don't join anything because I'm crazy wanting to read all my own stuff at my own time. So I used to be very good at that. I am not anymore. But anyway, I loved A Prayer for Owen, Meany. I did finish listening to Identity by Nora Roberts. I was really excited about it, and then I hated the love scene. But I did talk about that book in my past videos, and it was all right. It was a Nora Roberts. I like her for certain times. Anyway, let's see, 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler. I listened to that also. It was about 3 days. It was about a woman who is in her 60s, and she is being kind of like forced into another job position. They gave her job to somebody else, and here she thought she was, when the person above her retired, who was maybe 65 or 67, she thought, oh, I'm 61, but I'll still be able to take over this position. And they were kind of like, you're not really a people person, which I love that. And it's about her relationship with her ex-husband, and her daughter's getting married, and her ex-husband comes over with a cat, like, hey, can I stay here? And it was great. It was based on 3 days in June. It was so good. So much packed in those 3 days, but in such of a eloquent way. So yeah, okay, so 2 books that I have, physical books that I read, was I did read another Star Trek book. This is Mutiny on the Enterprise by Robert E. Vardeman. So this lady gets picked up. They don't know what kind of species. She's like different. There's something different about her, and she says she's a speaker. So Kirk and Spock are like, Spock, he's just so fantastic. Spock is like one of my favorites always. But Kirk, he did a great job in this book about being a leader, handling himself. So anyway, but Spock, him being part Vulcan, things don't affect him like they affect other people. But this was very good. And here again, like close to the end, I'm like, how are they gonna get through this? Like, how is this gonna work out? So that's been exciting about Star Trek books. So another book that I loved, I do love Liane Moriarty. I've read a couple of her books now. This is the Hypnotist love story. It's about a woman who is a hypnotist who goes out on a date with this guy, and the guy is kind of like, she can't tell if he's like really interested in her. She doesn't know if she's really interested in him. He goes off, they're having a nice conversation, but then he goes off to the bathroom. He's gone for a long time. He comes back, and she's just like, because she was like, did he dip out? Like, what's going on? Anyway, he comes back, and he's like honest with her, and he tells her, he's like, I have a stalker, and she was here. Like, she met me over by the bathrooms. He said, I had my phone off. I turn my phone off whenever I'm someplace, and she had left me a ton of messages. And he's like, here, see? And he shows her these messages, and they're just like simple things like, oh, hey, funny seeing you here. You look good in that color. She's pretty. I hope you have a nice dinner. What, you ordered the pork belly? Like, just silly, just simple texts. Anyway, so she's like, oh, well, did you call the police? Like, and he's like, no, because he said when I mentioned about calling the police, she said she'll just turn everything around, like, and the police will believe her because she's a woman and I'm a man, and she'll say that I hit her or something like that. So it's like, okay, which you can kind of believe, because if someone was to say, like, report domestic violence, then the police would definitely have to look into it, and it could like ruin your reputation at your work and all different in life, so she's like, okay. So we are in this book, we then go back and forth between Sasna, I don't know how to pronounce her name, the stalker, and Ellen, the hypnotist, and this relationship with Patrick and Patrick's son Jack. And it is so good because it's like you can kind of feel for the woman who is stalking, and Patrick just kind of like ghosted her. Like, she was a part of his life, she was raising his son, his wife had passed, and so then he started dating Sasha. Too soon. But he just allowed her, like, in her life. She moved in, she took care of Jack, she took care of everything, was a complete mother to him. Jack loved her. She was a very good woman. And then he just dropped her, just like, we're done. And she was like, wait, we've created this life. Like, I didn't even notice anything was going on. And so you feel for her. I got cat hair flying because I got a fan on. It was so good. So good. And I love the ending. So wonderful. Okay, so 2 projects that I started that, I'm in a million different projects. But you guys know that I'm reading Baby. If I bring you up here, you're just going to harass Sylvie. Okay, that was Sterling. I'm reading The Titans. This is John Jakes. This is, I want to say, book 5 of the Kent Family Chronicles. And now I've really got cat hair everywhere. Also, I started reading the Jane Austen book club. And I only read the first chapter, and they're getting ready to read Emma. So I'm like, okay, I need to read Emma. Emma is one of my least favorites of Jane Austen, so this may take me a while. But as soon as I read Emma, then I'll go back to read until they get to their next book, which I think is Northanger Abbey, maybe. So that's something like I'm just doing on my own. There's May. And we'll see. It'll probably take me all year because of how I'm doing it. I also thought about adding in The Secret Life of Jane Austen, just reading the chapter on the book that I'm reading of hers and see how that goes. But I'm not for sure. So something else that I started my reread of, because I keep putting it off and I don't want to. I want to read it and I have time to read right now. And that is The Fall of the Giants by Ken Follett. This is the first book in, I want to say, the century. It doesn't even say on this book. I think it's a century trilogy. Anyway, I am not reading them in these editions. I wanted to show you these because they're beautiful. But the print is on the smaller side and they're not very floppy. I mean, when I do read them out of these, I'll be damaging the things. But anyway, it's The Fall of the Giants, Winter of the World, and actually, yeah, Winter of the World. I thought I did them backwards, and then Edge of Eternity, and they're all like really thick. These are beautiful editions. So I'm excited about that. But I'm reading them in. Hey, baby, I need you to move. Got roll over. Let go. I'm reading them in these editions because these are fantastic, floppy, wonderful. And you can tell I'm not very far along, but so yeah, we start the book out with a boy named Billy who is going down. He just, I want to say he just turned 10. He might have just turned 12, but I think he just turned 10, and he's going down to the mines, which is what his family does. And it's his birthday. He wakes up. He was hoping that his penis had grown to be like man size, and it didn't, because he has a friend who already has a mustache and already has like stuff to work with down there, I guess. And these are kids, you know. It's just, I don't know. I love how he, I don't know. I love how he does characters. But anyway, Billy is a sweet kid, and he's going down to the mines for the first day. And so he's down there, and there's already been issues. So we have Billy, and then we have an Earl, Fitz, who's an Earl, and his wife, he's British, his wife is Russian, and already the conflict between their marriage and their maid Ethel, and how what's going on with her. And then Fitz's sister Maud, who, remember, they're British, and she's met this German guy named Walter, and she's already messing around with him. So good stuff, exciting stuff. And I'm just in the beginning of my reread. I have forgot about Billy, so he's such a sweet kid. Anyway, that is another project that I'm working on. So ebook wise, I am reading, so I've been at night reading The Titans on my Kindle, just because it's easier to read at night. But I started reading Wally Lamb's new book on my Kindle, which I was gifted, so thank you, Nathan. Fantastic. It reminds me a lot of I Know This Much Is True, because it's about, I forget his name. I forget the main character's name. But anyway, he has twins. And in I Know This Much Is True, the main character, Dominic Birdsey, was a twin. But these are twin. He has a twin girl and a twin boy, and he's married. And I forget her name too. I just started it. I'm actually in the very beginning because something very serious happened, and now I had to stop because I'm so nervous of what's going to happen, because I'm like, how could you go on after doing this horrific thing? It wasn't intentional, but still you were playing with fire and it happened. So anyway, I believe it's called The River is Waiting, but as soon as it comes out in paperback, I will be buying it. I see it's just in hardcover right now, and I hardcovers I love on my shelves, and they're beautiful, and every once in a while I do like to pull out, you know, a hardcover and read it. There's something about it that reminds me of when I was a teenager and going to the which I still go to the library, and I get hardcovers in the library all the time. One other thing I want to mention, But anyway, I'm loving that. One other thing I want to mention is that I've been getting library books by Robert C. O'Brien. This is one of them. I don't know if I'm going to like it or not. I don't know if it's going to be too childish or whatever. But this is a Silver Crown. I just reread The Rats of Nim. I had saw John over at Hey Y'all Listen Up. I'll link him down below. I saw that he had read it. He had mentioned it in one of his wrap-ups. And I thought, oh, it's been so long since I've read that. I read it. I thought it was wonderful. There were so many things there was so many deeper meanings I didn't catch as a kid in that book. And so I got this in my car. I started reading, I have the book, library book, Z for Zachariah. And so I started reading that, and that is really good. My mom's coughing downstairs. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Anyway, Z for Zachariah is about a girl who, it's the end of the world. She thinks she's the only one. I want to say she's 16. She thinks she's the only one alive. The earth is like, she actually lives like how you would live off grid right now. You know, she has water source that isn't polluted. There is a water source that's polluted on her land, but there's also a clean water source where there's actually living fish and insects and all that. And then she has chickens and she has cows. So she actually has her own setup. You know, she's in like a forest area. She has trees. She has heat. She has everything she needs. But a man shows up, and she actually sees him from the distance. So she like ruins her garden. She doesn't want it to look like somebody's living here. She lets all the animals roam. Anyway, this guy shows up, and she's watching him from afar. She moves into a cave and is just watching him. And at first he has like all this protective gear on, and then he realizes like, oh, there's living things, I'm okay. So, and he sees that there's a clean water source, blah, blah, blah. So as she's watching him, she notices that he had gone to the wrong water source to bathe. Like he had soap and everything. And she doesn't know if it's going to end up killing him, or if he's going to, like, you know, get sick, or you just don't know. Like, that's where I stopped. Like, I don't know if this guy is going to survive, or if we're going to see him, like, transform into something, or just get really sick, or if he's going to be okay. Like, I really don't know. And I don't know if he's a good or bad guy. She doesn't know either. That's why she moved everything into a cave, to protect herself, to make sure that, you know, she's safe. Anyway, I know that was like a mouthful. It's been almost 18 minutes. But I've read a ton of stuff. I'm loving everything. There's some things that I read I didn't mention because it's like, they're okay. But anyway, let me know what you guys are reading. How are you enjoying your July? I cannot believe it's the 7th, 8th, something like that. Anyway, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.